Sean here, and I don't know if the universe is telling me to take a break or not, but I had a nightmare last night, and I woke up an hour and a half earlier than I usually do. It was this wide-eyed psycho who was Lorne Armstrong, but looked much more terrifying, and he was reading Lorne Armstrong stuff as Lorne Armstrong would read his stuff. Now, not the, and Johnny walked around the corner, he knew the end, but no, this was like dramatic, energetic reading. And I woke up, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Maybe I need to step back for a while. I don't know. Lorne Armstrong would be the absolute nightmare Thanksgiving guest, in my opinion. He doesn't watch sports. He doesn't watch anything else. He has no interest whatsoever. He's not interesting. And if you had alcohol, it's going to be all gone. So I would guess that you would tell everybody to be there 2 o'clock or whatever time. A lot of people do that mid-afternoon because there's so much food. Nobody's going to eat dinner anyway. Or it's just going to be, let's go back to the table and get whatever's left over. So you're getting up in the morning. It's about 10 o'clock, and there's a knock on your door. Lorne, what are you doing here? I was moving dirt from here, dirt over there. Oh, well, we're not planning to eat until 2, bud. Oh, I know, but, I figured I'd come over, I ain't got nothing else to do. Because that's Lorne, Mr. Inconvenience. I have nothing to do in my personal life, so you must not have anything either. And, well, all you're going to be doing is making food, so there's plenty of time for me to hang out. I think you would go in the kitchen, get in the fridge. You'd have to tell him, hey, don't touch that. That's for Thanksgiving. Oh, come on, just let me have one. He'd be sticking his nasty fungal fingers into the food. You'd have to keep telling him to get out. He doesn't have anything to tell you. There's nothing going on in his life. So it would be very awkward. You would have to be the one to keep the conversation going. As Lorne stands there awkwardly in the kitchen, looking at you, just spending quality time with you. We're going to have some time together. Imagine you're his siblings, who I'm guessing didn't care for him very much. Imagine you're his siblings, and he shows up to one of your houses. God forbid it's where his nieces are. I mean, I bet he would be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, probably if it was their house. I think he would truly believe you would be so happy that he showed up and happy to see him as he comes in, probably tracking mud, tracking dirt, whatever, from moving dirt over here or dirt over there. Maybe sit on your couch, not really do anything, drinking beer, and you're looking at him at 10 o'clock in the morning like, it's a little early to be drinking, Thanksgiving. Because, alcoholics, they'll use any, like people who are on a diet, well, it's the weekend, it's a special occasion, I can eat whatever I want. Oh, it's midweek, I just won't eat too much tomorrow. And that would be Lorne with his drinking, it's Thanksgiving, I ain't gonna drive anywhere anyway. Wait, what? Because we all know that Lorne Armstrong is going to eat so much, and that turkey coma is going to set in, and he's already drunk. He's probably going to fall asleep on your couch or in the chair. He's going to be snoring. You're going to try to wake him up. He's not going to get up. He's just going to be laying there, and you're like, oh shit, this guy's going to want to spend the night. Because he would get up early in the morning or in the middle of the night, make a lot of noise, get into the refrigerator, get something to eat. If this was during the catfish period, he's going to want to be on the phone. He's going to want to have them on the phone while he's having his Thanksgiving so they can spend that quality time. Imagine you're sitting at the table, and here comes this guy, this balding, unrepentant, drunken pedophile, coming in your house who you already are uncomfortable around, and he's got his phone out on speakerphone, probably has Winnie muted, I can't imagine he would be saying anything at the table. People would be eating, probably staring at him like, what are you doing? Can you imagine sitting at that table and Lorne piping up, well, working on the trailer, drywall and moving dirt from here to there and got a lot of stuff going on, and I can't even fathom him going, well, I got my girlfriend on the phone. She lives in California. Hey, Winnie, say hi. Oh my God. Hi. Imagine your family, your normal, even dysfunctional family, because dysfunctional families nowadays are normal. We all have our problems. My Thanksgiving, it was with my godparents, Aunt Lynn and Uncle Fred, my cousin Matt, my cousin Lisa, and then their family, my mom and dad, and my sister, and maybe a friend would come over. We'd have this huge spread over 4 tables. We'd sit in the living room, some of us in the dining room, the family room. Matt and I would go downstairs. They had, video games and everything else, watch TV. It was a really, really fun time. I cannot imagine Lorne's Thanksgiving looking anything like that. All I can imagine is Lorne sitting around drinking beer, staring at people uncomfortably, staring at his nieces uncomfortably. At this point, I truly believe he had the hots for them. Just knowing what we know now, knowing how lazy he is, knowing he doesn't want to work for anything, and his nieces would be captive audiences. He would store them in the spank bank, and as gross as that is, I think it's real. The conversations around the table for us were usually about the children, how proud they were of us. When I told them I was joining the Marine Corps, they were really excited. They wanted to know about my pre-physical fitness test that we had to take. Uncle Fred bet me I couldn't get a perfect physical fitness test when I was in the fleet, and I did in boot camp. Perfect PFT, which is a physical fitness test. Came back, the bet was $1. It was just this joyous time when I came back. Oh, hey, I found out what was going on. I found out how the other kids were doing. I found out how the grandparents were doing. It was just a heartwarming time. Here's what I imagine happened at the Armstrong household. Lorne, did you get a job? Well, yeah, my third one in the last 3 months, man. I told him I'd stick it. I wasn't going to do what he said. Lorne's the kind of guy, if he saw the deviled eggs and everyone was supposed to get 2, Lorne would take 5 because he wanted to take 5. And I'm sure his mom would be like, Lorne, you got to save some of that for the others. Lorne, you're using too much gravy. Lorne, only 2 rolls, please. Everybody else has got to eat. They'd sit down at the table, look at his plate, and go, oh my God. Still drinking beer. His mom would tell him, slow down, Lorne, you're drinking too much. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. His siblings would probably look for an excuse to get away if they could, if it wasn't their house. I'm sure Roy and him would get in an argument. You know Lorne, if it's quiet, he's got to have an argument. He needs to have something to talk about, and the only time he ever has anything to talk about is when he's talking about everybody else's faults. False. When he's talking about everybody else's faults, what they've done in the past to wrong him, probably as he gets buzzed, telling his mom she needs to stop doting on the other children. Why doesn't she ever say anything good about him? And there's a fight, and Lorne storms outside. Actually, Lorne would expect them to storm outside. But they separate. Lorne tries to reconcile, and they do it just so they can go back to some kind of peace inside. His aunt would probably be making excuses. Oh, you got to forgive Lorne. He's had a hard life. He's the baby of the family. And his mom, well, he needs to grow up. I mean, I could just hear all of this stuff happening. So the football game comes on the TV. Lorne's going to come in there. It's an annual tradition. They're watching the football game. And Lorne won't shut up. Lorne comes in and he wants to talk about Lorne and everything else. And they're trying to watch the game. And they keep asking him to be quiet. Well, you know what? And he won't be quiet. Now think about this and tell me this wouldn't happen. He doesn't have anything to talk about. He would probably be talking about everything everyone else that he knew was doing, everything else they were doing. I've had people come over to a Thanksgiving I was at, We were trying to watch the football game. We were trying to watch the big game. We were trying to watch something. And they wouldn't be quiet. They just kept talking. You ask them to be quiet, they're quiet for a little bit, and then they start yapping again. I really believe that's what he would be doing. Now, when it came time to leave, oh boy. Lorne, drunk as a skunk, well, can't drive home. Somebody'd offer him to drive him home, and he'd be like, well, no, I got it, just, let me slow down. He would for like 20 minutes, and then he'd keep drinking again. He'd pass out in the chair. They'd want to wake him up, but he was too drunk. Roy, can you help me get him up? It'd be an argument. And Lorne would just fall asleep in the chair and now inconvenience them. Now, the unrepentant drunken pedophile is laying in their chair. Imagine if it's his brother's house and his nieces are down the hall asleep. Imagine it's after I never bought them short shorts. I don't know if his nieces were uncomfortable around him. Because honestly, if Lorne was the guy who doted on them and they were young enough, they would mistake his affection for like family love and not creepy love. I don't know if that's the case, but I wouldn't want him sleeping in my house. He probably stank. Sitting at the table, those chiclet teeth on full display for everybody. There were probably arguments all year. Lorne upset, they were getting praised. They had a nice house. Wherever he was living at the time, maybe it was in his mom's basement, and I told you I think the trailer is a displaced basement. It is his mom's basement. He, depends on her. Lorne would be criticizing where they lived, telling them what they needed to do, giving advice to everyone about what they need to do with their jobs, even though he's jobless. Take all of the worst house guests you've ever had and roll them into one. I think there might have been a possibility that at some point, little Lorne, who was demanded to be the center of attention, might have behaved when he was younger and he was getting that attention because he was innocent and a kid. And then as he got older, things started happening, and a lot of this stuff with his mom having to intervene happened. And then his siblings finding out about some of the stuff he did and some of the things that he's currently doing, and listening him talk about stalking women but not know he's talking about stalking women. I don't think conversations at the Armstrong household would be anything other than, please, let's just get him to stop talking. So after showing up inconveniently early, eating the food before other people got there, drinking, making the lunch or dinner uncomfortable, talking about nothing, interrupting the game, continuing to make things uncomfortable, probably getting in arguments, likely falling asleep in the chair, falling asleep on the couch, sleeping over when no one wanted him to sleep over. God forbid it was where his nieces were. Getting up early in the morning or staying late. Well, I'm already over here, may as well stay for lunch. You probably couldn't get rid of him. And if the leftovers went with his mom, that's where Lorne's going. The entire time, if it was during the catfish saga, he'd be carrying around a phone, going outside, getting in an argument with whoever the catfish was, screaming and yelling, so that everyone else could hear. I can't imagine being at Thanksgiving with Lorne Armstrong. And I know I would never be at any function with Lorne Armstrong. I just wanted to make a quick video and remind you guys how much I appreciate you, and just want to tell people that your support is greatly appreciated, especially during these hard times for people with depression who are bipolar, when we're getting to the holiday season or the doldrums in between the holiday season. I hope that in some way, if you're also going through that, my videos help you. I will be putting out another clinical type video very shortly, but for today, that's it. I love you. I will see you in the next one.
What?